Thanks, Miles. I'm an alcoholic called Daniel. Good to be here tonight. Congratulations to all the people celebrating. Welcome to all the people that are new to AA. AA changed my life for sure. It's a good place to be. Um, I've been thinking all week of trying to come up with a topic, and I've just been blanking. So I'm just going to share my story. Um, a little bit about me. I for no real reason. I just always felt separate from everybody. Um, I just didn't fit in. I couldn't make friends in school. I was too cool for the nerds. I wasn't cool enough for the cool kids. And I just always thought I was apart from. I couldn't make friends. And there was just something inside that just something wasn't right. And uh, By the time I was 12, 13 years old, I was wanting to take my own life. Um, and then, Fortunately, did not succeed at that and discovered alcohol instead. And I remember the first time I drank, uh, walking down the street at like 1 in the morning and just having this, oh, okay, I got it. This makes sense. If I can do this for the rest of my life, I think I can do life. It just the whole universe just kind of came into alignment with that first drunk. And it felt right. And man, I was off chasing that. When I was sober, I did not feel right. Our book calls it irritable, restless discontent. Those were words to a feeling that I did not know how to describe. It was just I was uncomfortable in my own skin. I didn't fit in. But man, when I had a few drinks, everything was okay. Um, the problem was that I didn't just have a few drinks. I pretty much drank to pass out or black out every time. The goal was never to get a little buzz. It was always to get absolutely wasted. Um, so I drank for a fairly short drinking career, um, and got arrested a few times. The second time I got arrested, I was arrested looking at 4 or 5 years in jail. Um, I was not so nicely asked to leave the university that I was attending. Um, Told that I was never allowed back on their campus. My mother got to drive 3 hours to bail me out of jail on her birthday. Um, and I remember getting walked into the holding cell in handcuffs, and my mom seeing me, and I could just watch her heart break. Like I just see it in her eyes. Her heart just broke right in front of me. Um, and man, it was hard to see. Um, Part of that was I had to go to drug treatment, drug and alcohol treatment, and I did not think I was an alcoholic. I thought I was a 19-year-old kid who liked to get drunk, and did what he should. And I went through this assessment thing, and I was honest with them because I didn't think I had a problem. And we get to the end of it, and they said, "Yep, you're probably alcoholic, and you need to do treatment, and you need to go to AA meetings." And I was so mad. I was just seeing red, mad. Because they were telling me that I had to stop doing the one thing that works for me. I Alcohol was the solution. The problem has always been me, and my mind. Um, and alcohol was my solution. It was the only solution I knew. It came with a lot of problems, and it didn't work all the time, but I got some relief sometimes, and that was the only relief I could get. Um, and when they told me I needed to stay sober and go to meetings, and I thought my life was over. Um, my idea of what an AA room was a bunch of old people smoking cigarettes, complaining about how they couldn't drink anymore. Um, and and I had to go to meetings, and they said one thing to me that I could actually hear, which was, "You might not be an alcoholic. Just keep an open mind and listen to what people have to say." And I said, "Okay, I can keep an open mind and try on what you guys are saying and see if it applies to me." Um, I started going to AA meetings, and what I found was hundreds of people that were sharing all of my same experiences. The crazy thoughts that I had that I knew were too crazy to say out loud, the things that I knew were broken about me, but I didn't have words for. Um, and then I'm sitting in rooms where there's people putting words to it, laughing about it, free from all of it. It was I felt like I had come home. It was the first time I had felt at home anywhere in the world, was in these AA meetings. Um, and what I noticed was that the people that seemed genuinely happy, they had that light in their eyes, genuine smiles, genuine laughs. They seemed to live a life of freedom and full lives. Um, what I noticed was that every one of them talked about the same things. They all talked about going to meetings regularly. They all talked about working the steps with a sponsor, doing the steps to find a relationship with a higher power, and being of service. And doing those four things: meetings, doing the steps, connecting with a higher power, and being of service. Um, and so I said, all right, I need this thing. Like, I'm broken. It was very clear that I was an alcoholic. I thought an alcoholic was, the guy who had gone through 5 divorces and lost 5 houses and was living under the bridge. And I was 19. I hadn't done any of that. Um, but what I found out was that an alcoholic just meant that when I start drinking, I can't stop drinking. I don't know when I'm going to stop. There's something set off. I put a drink into my body. There's an allergy that's set off, and I need more. And I don't know where the night's going to end. It might end with me in my bed. It might end with me thinking I'm going to have one beer, and then there's 40 people in my apartment, and we're throwing kegs off the balcony. Um, I don't know. I have no control once I put that drink into my body. That in and of itself is not a problem, because if I'm allergic to strawberries, I just don't eat strawberries, right? No problem there. The problem is that I also have a mind that tells me over and over, it'll be different this time. It's going to be different this time. It was those people. You're with these people. These are good people. It was the vodka. We'll drink gin tonight. It'll be different. Whatever the excuse, the reason, my brain will come up with something that will tell me it's okay, or my brain will just forget that I'm not supposed to drink, and somebody will pass one my way and I'll pick it up without even thinking. And I'll be a few drinks deep and going, wait, what happened? Um, all of that is because that irritable, restless, discontent feeling that I have, that that I've had since I was a kid, that I don't fit in, I'm not comfortable in my skin, all of that. The reason my mind convinces me over and over again that I can drink is because it knows that that's the solution. And I can get some temporary relief from picking up a drink. Um, so what I've found in AA is a solution to that uncomfortable feeling in my soul, that discontent, that irritability. Um, what I've found through AA is a solution to that, where now I live a life where I love who I am. I love the life I live. I can connect with other people. I can have deep and meaningful relationships. Um, I can have fun in sobriety. I didn't think that was possible. Um, Miles mentioned the SNOWYPAA. I went to that for the first time last year. Had an absolute blast with a bunch of alcoholics skiing on the mountain. Um, and you know, I got to sit down with the sponsee after work today, and he shared a really cool experience with me. It just brought me right back with, um, when I got sober, people talked about having a drinking thought, like a singular drinking thought. And I didn't quite understand that because my mind was nonstop 24/7. I want to drink, but I can't drink, but I want to drink, but I want to drink, but I can't drink. This would be so much better if we were drinking. And it was just nonstop hate that ran from the moment I woke up until I went to sleep. And I remember when it stopped, it was somewhere in the steps. I don't know exactly where it was, but I was sitting in a meeting and somebody mentioned drinking thought, and I went, "Wow, I haven't had one of those in a couple weeks." And I got to live this experience, relive that experience with my sponsee because he had a similar one today where somebody was drinking around him and he didn't even think about it. It was like not even on his radar that this is something that I would want to do. Um, and it just brought me back to how grateful I am for the freedom that this program has given me. Um, can get caught up in life really easily and the problems of today. Um, but when I get that moment to step back and look at, I couldn't even stop thinking about drinking for 10 seconds. And that thought has been completely removed from me. That desire has been completely lifted out of me. That is more of a miracle than I could have ever dreamed possible for myself. And then you throw on top of that, I'm at peace with myself. I have deep and meaningful relationships. I get to be of service to other people in the world. Um, in most of the things I do, I'm a positive influence. I still have my character defects that throw a wrench into that from time to time. But um, on the whole, I live a great life. And what a miracle, man. Like, I thought my life was over when I got sober, and I have been given everything and more than I could have dreamed possible for myself. Um, as far as how much time do I have left? Am I needing to wrap up?
No,
Seven more minutes?
you gotta, I
Okay.
mean, you don't have to spend it all, but you can.
Okay. I'll say a little bit more and then we'll go on with the topic. Um, so my sobriety has not been just a straight line from misery to uh, a wonderful, amazing life. When I got a few years sober, I did what a lot of people do, and I got busy. Our lives get full when we get sober and start living this program, and I let the busyness of life take over, and I put AA on the back burner, and I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that I wasn't happy. I didn't want to wake up anymore. Looking back on it, I know was depressed. I was in a big depression. Um, but at the time, I didn't know that's what was going on. I went to one meeting a week because nobody would take the key from me. I tried for a year to get somebody to take that key from me, and nobody would take it. Uh, my higher power works in my life by by not giving me things that I want sometimes. Um, and I was going to that one meeting. I wasn't connecting with any alcoholics. And I was just living in my own selfish, self-centered little world. And I was absolutely miserable. Um, and that lasted for longer than it needed to. Uh, Probably about a year and a half before I finally got back into meetings and doing the work and everything. And it was amazing. You get back into the work, um, got a new sponsor, got back into the work, started going to meetings regularly, like every night, connecting with other alcoholics, getting back into the fellowship. And it was amazing. It was within a couple months that um, I went from this depressed, dry drunk misery to live an amazing life and overwhelmed with gratitude on a regular basis. And it's amazing how quickly it happened. Um, the thing is, for me, it doesn't feel fast when it's happening. Like when you're in it, when you're in early sobriety, when you're in, if you get separated from the fellowship a little bit in sobriety, it feels like it's a really long time. And it's only once I get through it and look back that I go, well, that happened pretty quickly. But man, when I was in it, those first 6 months, 9 months for me were felt like they took years. And then after working the steps and everything, I look back on and went, wow, that time went pretty quickly. Um, so yeah, it's if you're in it right now, and I'm sure some of you people, some of you guys are, we go through it in AA. If you're feeling it, if you're feeling that separation, if you're feeling that misery, that depression, that self-pity and remorse and all that stuff that we love to dwell in, um, just keep putting one foot in front of the other. There is hope. I've come out of that tunnel multiple times in sobriety. Um, and now I keep doing this deal and it keeps getting better. I've been doing this for a while. Um, and it just keeps getting better. As long as I keep doing it and stay connected and stay plugged in, man, my life just gets better and better all the time. I think it's as good as it can get. It's way better than I could have ever imagined. And it just somehow keeps getting better. The serenity gets deeper, the love gets stronger, the connection with others gets more real. Um, so that's about all I got. I really hope all the new people keep coming back. A couple things that were given to me was 90 meetings in 90 days. Get a sponsor who's been through the steps and get in service. So if you're going to in-person meetings, make coffee. If you're here, ask to sign up for a service position. Um, do those things and stick with it. And man, your life will get better. I've never seen it fail. That's all I got. I guess for a topic, um, when we read the promises, it felt like a really warm, fuzzy blanket to me. So I would love to hear people's experiences with the promises coming true, struggles in sobriety, getting the promises back. Um, so yeah, let's do that for a topic.